Hello and welcome to yet another tutorial on good ways to make wargame touring pieces. As promised, last time showed you how to make and paint hills and cliffs. Here's another one my buddy was actually working on. I thought it turned out quite nice. Yeah, but this tutorial is going to be on how to use and how to properly cut the pink foam, because it's hard to make a hill if you don't have a hill. So show you how to make that. But real quick, I told you last time about I was going to grab to Home Depot to grab paint supplies, and I got the equivalent of what is Games Workshop Codex Gray and Skull White. I don't know what other companies you might be using. My preferred method, though, I would recommend wearing one of these. You look like you're in a Japanese subway tunnel, but it's okay. I'm sure you won't be going to any fashion shows wearing this. So, first, let's get some test pieces out here. Usually, don't throw this stuff away. It's actually, even though it's old and used and crappy, you can still make cool little things out of it, or even trial certain techniques. But a really good thing to use is this little foam cutter here. You can get it at Joann's or any kind of like craft store where they, it's near where the styrofoam is, and you just turn it on. This is my preferred method. Now, you could use knives like this, very long ones, because they make some of the blades that are this long. Those are fantastic. I currently only have one with a very short blade. So you want one with a very long blade if you're going to use it for that. So that's that. You allow this to heat up for a few seconds, and do not touch this. Even when you first flick it on, it works. And you know how you can test it? Just cut that right in half. So, cut right through there, and that's just melting powder. There's no blade on this, so it won't hurt you if it's off. But definitely do not, be very wary of, especially since currently I'm using a plastic-like table, not to just let it touch it, because it'll start to melt through things, and it burns really bad, so don't think it doesn't. So, let's see what kind of cool thing we can make today with this old scrap piece. So, let us... A good thing to do before that, I'm just going to turn that off. Take a Sharpie and outline it. You can see where there's Sharpie and stuff on the edges and Sharpie on there. What you want to do is you want to draw out kind of a vague shape, maybe not exactly how you want it, but kind of what you're going for, for this Hummer here. Took a big chunk, fits perfectly right in there. Varying thicknesses cause various types of hills, so if you're going for a rounded single hill, you might want to go with the thicker stuff. This stuff is a lot thinner, as you can tell, and the thin stuff's good for doing multi-level hills, cliffs, things. But if you want kind of a big, tall, round hill, use the thicker stuff. Depends on your personal preference. So, let's do in the middle hill. So, kind of want more rounded shape. Try to make it kind of natural looking, not... And as I said, you don't have to go exactly by that shape. Just kind of a vague outline of what you want and where you want to cut, so you don't just go off on a little tangent. So yes, let us begin. So we'll take this, turn it on, let it heat up for just a few seconds. It's already really hot, but allow it to just get even hotter before you start cutting, therefore you don't make as many mistakes. So what you'll want to do is dab it right on through there, and then just start pushing. Sometimes you can go back and forth like this. That gives it kind of a razored kind of cliff look to it. Part 2, which is making the hill. Now, as I said, there's several ways to do this. You can use the heating tool, which is a specialty tool, which you might not have in your house. You can use a knife with a longer blade, because this is kind of small to be cutting these big cuts. It needs to be really sharp, though. Make sure your knife is, well, I don't really know how you make it sure, but test trial it on some other crap pieces of foam. So what I'll do is I'll come in at an angle like this, and then kind of move along, kind of start cutting into it. As I said, with the heating tool, the one back draw is this weird feathery stuff, but it's easy to get off with a file or your fingers run it down like that. Look, just all comes off. So this time we'll cut deep at a really slight angle. Hills are a lot harder to make than cliffs because it's harder to make them look good. This is the much less clean and less interesting part of the job, but it is also the most crucial otherwise, because if you screw this up, you really can't paint over it if it looks terrible. So far that's what we're getting for. So now I'm going to take that edge off to make it more flat and rounded, and you could do that with a knife, but I'm going to be adventurous and try it with this. We've let that dry overnight and painted it, flocked it, and there's the final product. It's a nice workable semi-hill.